Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Mental health issues in relationships have to be addressed. And this is very key. Now, I know in this particular space, I might talk about man gets woman. Other people discussing the same thing and, different methods, techniques, and stuff. And then, on the woman's side, they talking about getting a bag, leveling up, and all of that. And then, even beyond this space, even beyond the YouTube space, the whole relationship industry, it's a major industry. If you're talking about online dating, singles events, um, you know, church groups. Relationships are a major thing because that's the core of who we are. People want to reproduce. That's what it all stems from. And indeed, society itself stems from relationships. Society itself stems from relationships because any nation comes from the family, from the womb, from the man and woman getting together and their descendants becoming a bigger family, and then a community, a clan, and then a nation. So, this is an important thing. But see, we have all these problems in relationships. You got people complaining about people being shallow or needing money or all this other stuff. But the one thing that's not really addressed on a great level is mental health issues. A lot of people have problems relating to the next person, not because, oh, they just want thugs or they just want a man with money or a man just want that woman with a big old fat ass or something like that. Nah, a lot of issues just come down to mental health for a lot of people. Not everyone, of course. Not everyone, but a lot of people, when they have some issues, they might, instead of going to a dating coach or some woman telling them how to level up, they might need to go see a mental health therapist. And I'm gonna tell you what, when I say therapist, I mean a professional therapist. And I'm gonna tell you what, I've always recognized that there's been mental health issues. I've always recognized it to the point when I've had a couple of coaching clients, and even on some comments, when someone will say something and they'll talk about some mental health issue, I will say, okay, you need to talk to a mental health professional. See, the reason I don't talk about it as much, and even in this, I don't give any solutions. I always say go get a mental health professional because I am not a mental health professional. I can give some advice on men based on my personal observations on how to get a woman, you know, or and even tell women how on, from a man's perspective, what we're going to respond to. But when you talk about the mental health thing, I'm not an expert. I am not an expert on it. So when people get to that level and recognize it, then it's like you pass it off to them. And we really need, seriously, we need a lot of psychologists, like real psychologists, to really work with people. They even give general thing, but work with individuals because it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it. If somebody is in a relationship and they have bipolar disorder, that's going to affect it. Or people call it a borderline disorder or narcissistic disorder. That's going to affect how they relate to the next person, and it's very key. And ultimately, if you really look at everything, even if it's not a disorder, you have it. It's still relationships. How you relate to another human being depends on your mindset. I don't care what your bone structure is or how much money you got. So it's very important, and it has to be addressed. Like that's one of the things I would love it. In fact, well, I remember when I was doing an internet radio show before I got on YouTube, and we would go deep. We would go deep on it, and I remember I specifically wanted to talk to a prominent psychologist. Um, just couldn't schedules didn't match up or anything, I ain't gonna get into some other stuff with the person, but I wanted to interview this particular psychologist. And if y'all ask me the name, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you, but his name is very recognizable. But I wanted to really talk about the mental health aspect of it. You know, if someone has, or if someone has, not even just mental health, like maybe some trauma that's affected them, like from childhood, that's going to affect them older as they're older. Now, I do talk about imprints and everything, but every imprint, whether it's for the man or woman, ain't always a good thing. I've personally known of women who have been negatively imprinted through rape or molestation. And quiet as it's kept, you have a ton. Let me say this again. You got a ton of men who might have been molested by an older woman as children. A ton of them, and there's no telling how that affects their mental health. So this is a very key thing. These issues have to be addressed. And I mean, and this is going beyond just like doing some hangout about it or talking about it. Yeah, we can talk in general, but we need the professional. Like when I say professional, certified professional, someone with the education, someone who's gone through some training, somebody who could really address it, that mental health aspect of it. Because it's out there. It's out there. There's been, I mean, seriously, we talk about divorce and stuff, but how many divorces have happened because one of the parties was going through some mental illness? Seriously. And that's something I know personally because my mother, rest her soul now, suffered from mental illness my entire life. And I was actually forced to, that affected my personality because I was forced to, my childhood effectively ended when I was about 6. That's why a lot of times people might encounter me and say I'm so serious. But it affects everything because, okay, in that case, it affects people outside of you, and it can color how you deal with people. So, I mean, that it goes beyond just man and woman. If you're in a family, you're dealing with someone with mental illness, that's some serious thing. And it affects how you want to deal with the opposite sex. Or if somebody, or say, I talk about the imprint, and this is for the ladies who follow this channel. What if a woman had, say her father or father figure had some serious mental illness? On a subconscious level, that woman looks for someone similar who might have the same thing. And then that sticks with her for life. And she might be like, have trouble all her life with a relationship and can't figure out why. But it's like, no, that's deep in you. You're looking for somebody who might not be mentally healthy on a normal basis. And that's deep, seriously. And like even now, I can't give solutions. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is mental health issues have to be addressed. And we need the professionals to do it. And I would just put out a call for mental health professionals to maybe do videos or something, really say like some serious people just to do some stuff, just to say, okay, all right, this is what you need to do. And then for individuals, don't be afraid to go get therapy. Do not be afraid to get therapy. If you feel like you need it, you feel like there's an issue you need to deal with, sign up. And I've known plenty who've done so, and it's really helped them. So, anyway, I want y'all to really think about that. So, peace and blessings.